federal government is set to impose a capital gains tax, CGT, on cryptocurrency transactions as part of Budget 2026-27, sources told pro-Pakistani Pakistan, after consultations with the International Monetary Fund, IMF, has finalised a plan to expand the scope of Section 37 of the Income Tax Ordinance 2001 to bring gains earned from cryptocurrency trading into the tax net. The proposed tax rate is expected to range between 20% and 30%, although a final decision is yet to be announced on Friday.
Only 1.10 TAR allocated to PSDP against 4.1 TAR requirement. Minister terms shortfall new circular debt crisis. Record 4.7 Fund development plan unveiled. APCC resolves to divert resources to ongoing projects Islamabad. Under tight International Monetary Fund IMF oversight, the government has trimmed allocations for most sectors in the next federal development programme to create additional fiscal space for the PMLN's trademark national highways. A new Rs 87 billion share for coalition partners and a 70 BN allocation for ruling party lawmakers' schemes.
Pakistan's farmers are awaiting the next budget with growing fears and fading hopes. Their concerns this year are fundamental, as the government, amid pressure for reform, continues experimenting with subsidies, procurement prices, input cost liberalisation and agricultural trade. The cost of this trial and error has become an existential problem for farmers and the agricultural sector.
Quetta. Police have registered a case against opposition leader in the National Assembly and PK-MAP chairman Mahmood Khan Achakzai on charges of allegedly spreading hatred against state institutions and criticising the present government while addressing a public gathering. Other party leaders have also been named in the FAR. The charges relate to an allegedly provocative speech made against state institutions. At least 4 people have been killed and dozens have been injured in Ukraine after Russia launched a major overnight attack. The 4 dead were in Dnipro and included a 73-year-old woman. Dozens have been injured altogether in Dnipro, Kyiv and Kharkiv following Russian strikes, local officials said in the early hours of Tuesday.
As a growing list of musical acts announced they were dropping out of or had never agreed to participate in a series of concerts celebrating the 250th anniversary of America's independence, Donald Trump said that he didn't need them anyway. "I don't want so-called artists that get paid far too much money who aren't happy," the president wrote on Truth Social. "I only want to be surrounded by happy people, smart people, successful people, and people that know how to win." Months since Denmark's general election, acting Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen, the leader of the Social Democratic Party, will form a centre-left coalition minority government. 12 parties won seats in March's inconclusive election. The Social Democrats won the most votes but saw their weakest performance since 1903.
People are feared trapped under the rubble of a multi-storey residential building after Russia launched a heavy drone and missile attack on the Ukrainian capital early Tuesday morning, according to Ukrainian officials. Kyiv Mayor Vitaly Klitschko said an apartment block in Kyiv's Podilsky district had partially collapsed after a double-tap Russian strike.
Less than 2 hours after polling stations closed on Sunday, it was clear that Colombia's presidential race would be settled in a runoff between 2 finalists: hard-right political outsider Abelardo de la Espriella and leftist Senator Ivan Cepeda. Though the overall results surprised few, de la Espriella's strong showing upended pollsters' predictions.
A United States Court of Appeals has ruled that a policy under President Donald Trump to expel transgender troops from the military was a violation of the Constitution, but Monday's decision was a split one among the 3-judge panel of the US Appeals Court for the District of Columbia.
Every founder who applies to start at Battlefield wants the same thing: the Disrupt main stage. 6 minutes to pitch and demo live. in front of top-tier Silicon Valley investors. A dedicated TechCrunch article published as you present, a shot at the $100,000 equity-free prize and the Disrupt Cup. And all of that could be yours, but every path to startup Battlefield success begins with an application. And we actually have extended the deadline for this year's cohort to June 8, so you only have a brief window to send yours in.
Google parent company Alphabet said Monday that it plans to raise $80 billion to help pay for the massive AI infrastructure build-out it has planned. Alphabet will sell off that amount in stock and will then use the funds to pay for general corporate purposes, including capital expenditures to scale AI infrastructure and global compute, the company said in a statement. Part of the plan involves selling $10 billion in stock to Berkshire Hathaway, the massive global holding company formerly led by Warren Buffett.
NVIDIA opened Taipei's enormous Computex trade show on Sunday with a spark, literally. The chipmaker unveiled a new PC CPU called the RTX Spark, which it dubbed a super chip, and named a who's who list of PC makers that will soon deliver AI PCs powered by it. The super-fast 1 petaflop chip is designed to run AI agents like OpenClaw or Hermes agents securely, according to NVIDIA. Such RTX Windows PCs will be available this fall from Asus, Dell, HP, Lenovo, Microsoft Surface and MSI, with models from Acer and Gigabyte to follow.
Mac Industries, the 3-year-old defense tech startup run by 22-year-old founder and CEO Ethan Thornton, has raised a $300 million Series C at a $1.8 billion the valuation. The raise nearly quadruples the valuation of the company in a year. In June 2025, Mac raised $100 million at a $470 million the valuation. Other investors include Bedrock Capital, Sequoia Capital, and Khosla Ventures.
United States President Donald Trump will reportedly drop his $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund amid congressional backlash, including from fellow Republicans. On Monday, U.S. media indicated the fund would be paused, though the White House has yet to publicly confirm the reports.
Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan has rejected a call from Moscow to hold an immediate referendum on leaving the Russian-led Eurasian Economic Union, EAU, to join the European Union. The refusal from Pashinyan came on Monday as Russian President Vladimir Putin called, ostensibly to wish him a happy birthday. The unreasonable demand, as the Armenian leader termed it, came amid a rapid escalation of economic and diplomatic pressure from the Kremlin as its traditional ally increasingly looks to the West.
Thousands of Kenyans have marched through central Nairobi to demand that the government declare a national crisis over rising cases of femicide and child disappearances. The march, composed mostly of women, was organised on Monday by the End Femicide movement alongside women's rights, human rights and child protection groups. It was one of the largest demonstrations against gender-based violence the Kenyan capital has seen in months and brought traffic to a standstill across parts of the city's central business district. Denmark's Social Democratic leader Mette Frederiksen has announced that she has agreed to form a centre-left minority government, securing a third consecutive term as Prime Minister. The breakthrough, announced on Monday, ends more than 2 months of political deadlock following a highly fractured March general election, the incoming policy crisis, in an immediate foreign policy crisis with the United States over the future of Greenland.
Some of the most consequential companies in tech history didn't launch with a splashy fundraising announcement. They started with a pitch. Dropbox demoed to a room of skeptics. Cloudflare took the stage before most people understood what edge networking meant. Discord was a scrappy game developer called Hammer and Chisel. Mint, Trello, Forethought, N26, all of them passed through the same crucible. TechCrunch startup Battlefield. That's not a coincidence. Battlefield isn't just a competition. It's a launch pad, and the numbers back it up. More than 1,700 companies have competed on the Battlefield stage. Together, they've raised $32 billion in total funding and generated over 250 exits, including acquisitions by Microsoft, Google, Yahoo, Salesforce, Twitter, Uber, and Amazon. The startup Battlefield network runs so deep that alumni have even acquired each other. Dropbox acquired fellow startup Battlefield alum DocSend in 2021. For thousands of founders, it's become a defining milestone, not just a pitch competition, but the moment the world started paying attention.
Florida has become the first US state to sue OpenAI over the design and safety of the company's artificial intelligence AI chatbot, ChatGPT. The sweeping lawsuit brought by Attorney General James Uthmeier alleges OpenAI and its boss Sam Altman are endangering and addicting children, aiding and abetting mass shooters, and coaxing users into suicide as the company pursues profit. Hundreds of people have taken to the streets in central Kenya to protest a planned Ebola quarantine facility at a military base that would take in United States nationals. Demonstrators rallied on Monday in the city of Nanyuki, days after Kenya's High Court ordered the suspension of the plan. The suggestion that Kenya should host people exposed to the virus, an outbreak of which has killed over 200 people in the Democratic Republic of the Congo and neighbouring Uganda, has sparked anger in the country, which has recorded no cases of the virus.
Tina Peters, a former Colorado official convicted of allowing election machine tampering, has been released from state prison following a pressure campaign by United States President Donald Trump. As Peters left state prison on Monday, Colorado Secretary of State Jenna Griswold issued a statement expressing opposition to her release.
OpenAI and its CEO, Sam Altman, were sued by the Florida Attorney General on Monday in a first-of-its-kind state litigation effort over ChatGPT's alleged links to a number of violent incidents. The lawsuit accuses OpenAI of looking the other way on safety concerns, as it has sought to prioritize winning the AI arms race and amass large fortunes. AI giant Anthropic has said it plans to become a public company in the US. The company behind the popular chatbot Claude said on Monday it had filed confidential paperwork with the US Securities and Exchange Commission in order to make an initial public offering, IPO, this year. 3 new vaccines are being developed to tackle the rare species of Ebola that has already killed nearly 250 people. The International AIDS Vaccine Initiative, IAVI, which is working on one vaccine, said the outbreak was threatening to be the worst ever. Italians have reacted with bemusement to the restoration of a famous bull mosaic in Milan, with some wondering what has happened to the animal's Lucky Charm testicles. Work to repair the small crater formed by tourists grinding their heels on the bull's private parts began last week, and local Milan councillor Marco Granelli said over the weekend that the mosaic had been completely restored. The United States and Iran have both signalled that they would prefer not to go back to the war that has been on hold since the ceasefire was announced on the 8th of April. Neither side has allowed the steady drumbeat of military exchanges between them to end the talks being mediated by Pakistan, Qatar and others.
Artificial intelligence giant Anthropic has confidentially filed for an initial public offering, IPO, in the United States, teeing up what could become a watershed moment for Wall Street's AI frenzy. The move, announced on Monday, sets up a high-stakes test of whether investor appetite for the AI revolution that has reshaped white-collar work around the world can match the sky-high expectations surrounding the booming sector.
SpaceX has added new language to its IPO filing that warns prospective investors about the company's access to a potentially scarce resource. Water, the company, which now includes Elon Musk's AI play, xAI, wrote in an amended version of the filing on Monday that access to water is just as important as SpaceX's ability to secure power, processors, and other critical resources.